KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
In the spirit of celebrating World Music Day, we decided to take you to the world of rumba and benga.
Actually appreciating the power of art. Kwa sababu wanasema sana ni kioo cha jamii.
Rajo in Somali means hope. And so this is a story that's really ultimately about finding hope in places that some people mischaracterize or even overlook.
I said, oh, the war, it impacted me so hard. I said, I have to do something.
Fred Omonde, who is the younger and only brother to Eric Omonde, unfortunately passed on after getting involved in a grisly road accident.
They are classy ladies and they are ladies of class. Classy ladies are any ladies who pretend to have class.
The last laugh was held at Carnival Simba Saloon, and it brought together all the bigwigs of the industry.
Maeneo la Ng'ata Road, raundi ya 34 ligi kuu taifa Kenya ni Ulinzi Stars dhidi ya AFC Leopards. Dungu la matangazo, mimi ni nguvu mpya Kaka Zema nikisaidiana naye mwenzangu Greg Mulemi. Tumeizungumzia sana Greg hii mechi, tumezungumzia sana huu mchezo, lakini mwisho wa siku mechi kama hii inataka individual brilliance. Mchezaji mmoja ambaye unaweza kusema kwamba atachomoka na hawezi kutengeneza mazuri.
Bila shaka manake ukiangalia mechi nyingi za mwisho huu wa mechi ambazo mchezaji pia anataka kujiuza, anataka kujionyesha kwamba kocha niko tayari pia kwa msimu ujao. Anajua pia labda kuna wale ambao pia wanamtizama pale na labda kuna mascout wawili watatu, manake wakitoka hapa kuna lile dirisha la uhamisho ambalo litafunguliwa. Kwa hivyo leo sio mechi tu ya kawaida, kuna alama na pia kuna ule wakati ambapo wachezaji wanasema kwamba labda nicheze vizuri, nijitengeneze vizuri, CV yangu ikuwe sawa.
Levi Sopio, Ken Owino, mali ya zamani ya Posta Rangers, miongoni mwa wachezaji ambao shakumsema tusi wamekosa adabu msimu huu, funga dhidi ya mwajiri wake wa zamani
na akasherekea.
Naam. Aliomba radhi kwanza. Alisema samanini sana.
Leo unamwona Ronald Shichenje, mchezaji ambaye hajapata wakati mwingi sana wa kucheza katika timu hii ya AFC Leopards, na leo naona anachezeshwa katika ile nafasi ya beki wa kushoto. Na nimemzoea ule upande wa kulia. Sijui labda kuna kitu ambacho kocha anapika kule.
Lazima naweza kuangalia labda akili yake tayari ishasonga msimu ujao. Sahihi. Victor Omune, Musa Aundo, mchezaji ambaye alifunga bola pekee kwenye mchezo uliopita timu hizi mbili zikikutana ligi kuu taifa Kenya.
Dakika 13 mapema.
Randi Bakari
umekuwa mrefu, umekuwa na changamoto.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 24th day of June, 2021. Having conversations about sport with a lot of focus on the youth and also African championships and global championships where Kenya is involved. Well, we've spoken about the Africa Youth Chess Championships. Now, Kenya will be hosting Africa from the 8th to the 12th of August at the Kasarani Indoor Arena in a sport known as chook ball. And in studio with me on my right is the president of the Kenya Chook Ball Federation, Henry Biruka.
Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. And on my immediate left, we've got a chook ball coach and certified by the International Federation, Caroline Nange. And also we have got a referee, Brian Muchanga, who is also certified by the International Chook Ball Federation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just to mention, in 2016, Kenya hosted the Africa Chook Ball Championships, and that was held at the Starehe Boys Center. But looking at the nature of chook ball and what we know, how would I put it? So much, we keep saying so much about some of the sports of volleyball, basketball, handball. We play them outdoors, but they are basically indoor sports. So we are going to see it played indoors as should be. And let's just get straight to business. Miruka, President, let's now first talk about the last over 10 years of chook ball in Kenya and how the sport has grown, even including when Kenya hosted the continent, and this was at the Starehe Boys Center way back in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. I think chook ball has really made strides in terms of its growth in Kenya. It started in 2005 when there were 5 students from Starehe Boys Center who played chook ball for the first time. And over time, the sport has grown from different schools. It established itself in Nairobi County and then spread to other counties within the region. Earlier this year, we got recognized by the government as an official federation. In the period, we have hosted a number of events and also participated in a number of them. I think 2 years ago, we participated in the African Chook Ball Championship, and our women team actually qualified for the World Cup under the leadership of Captain Caro. Before that, we hosted the African Championship in 2016, and we have also participated in a number of tournaments. So we continue to grow chook ball in the country, and we continue to aspire to make it a household sport.
Well, and talking about growing the sport, we've got Karange here, who's a coach, and maybe you could just give us, hand over to this, because they've come with a manual here about chook ball training. And remember, chook ball is a game where it's called that because of what you call the post, the frame, where you throw the ball onto it, and it makes the sound as it bounces off. You can score on any side. And as a coach, basically, just give us, how you train people for this, and the fact that when this sport was conceived, it was meant to be one that doesn't result in a lot of injuries for players.
The inventor of chook ball was a doctor, and he was playing handball by then. And because of the injuries that are involved in handball, he decided that he wanted to come up with a game that doesn't have a lot of injuries. It's a non-contact, and that's how he came up with chook ball. When you look at chook ball, it's almost similar to handball, because a lot of rules, like having the ball in your hand for 3 seconds, the same applies to handball. And then passing the ball to 3 people, it applies to handball as well. Though it doesn't have dribbling as handball, and also it doesn't have goalposts and a goalkeeper like handball, but instead it has a frame on both sides.
And a frame, just to describe it, if you were to describe, it's more of what looks like
a trampoline. A
trampoline.
Yeah, trampoline, yeah.
Now, coming into this, and now for you picking up the sport and transitioning, getting to a point where you're playing at the World Championships, what has been this growth for you?
At first, I was so much into handball. I was training young kids in school on handball, using it as a tool for social change. And when I heard about chook ball, I was of much interest. And also, looking at my age as well, I don't want to be in injuries. So I decided, okay, this is the right sports for me.
Okay. Amesema yes, Gen Z.
Yeah, so when I was trained in 2022, it was a very good and interesting game to me, and I thought, okay, this is a good game to train even the kids, because actually it's non-territorial, I would say. So it doesn't give you that ownership of this is mine. So it has a lot of values in it that you can also transfer to the kids apart from the game itself. Because if you can score in either side, it means you don't have your goalposts. All of them, it's either this is mine when I'm here, that's mine when I'm there. So it's a non-territorial game, if I would say. And also avoiding the injury to young kids, because a lot of girls, especially young girls, they don't want to play football and the other games that are so defensive. Yeah, because of the influence of the World Cup, maybe. But you'll find out that in the grassroots, a lot of girls are in the houses. They don't want to come out and play soccer and netball and all that. So an alternative as chuk ball, actually it's bringing them outside, and we are seeing the growth of it.
Caroline Nangi, thank you very much. We'll be coming back to you. We take a short break right now. When we come back, we continue with preparations for the Africa Chuk Ball Championships and also the selection for Team Kenya as the host nation. What's a process that's going to be done so that the team is selected and they prepare for the next for another 5 or so weeks before the African Championships. Coming up after this short break, our sign language interpreter this hour has been Anwangeshi.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
This World Blood Donor Day, join us in celebrating 20 years of giving. Thanks to blood donors, I'm here today. Your donations gave me a second chance.
What is this? In case anything happens to me, when I cannot fathom.
Join us in making a difference. Happy World Blood Donor Day 2024. This message is brought to you by the Kenya Blood Transfusion and Transplant Service. The Global Peace Foundation and the Interreligious Council of Kenya and other co-conveners will host the Global Peace Leadership Conference Africa 2024 in Nairobi. The conference will kick off with a tree planting exercise at Konza Metropolis on Tuesday, June 25th, led by Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service Felix Koskei alongside the Cabinet Secretary for Environment Soipan Tuya. On Wednesday, June the 26th, President William Ruto will officially open the conference, initiating discussions on peace, development, and cooperation under the theme One Family Under God, empowering African Renaissance as a global catalyst for freedom, peace, and sustainable development. GPLC Africa 2024 will inspire and empower us all. Join us at GPLC Africa 2024 in Nairobi from June the 25th to the 27th at the Radisson Blu Hotel, Upper Hill. Register now at gplcafrica.org/registration. Together, we can lead the way to a more peaceful and prosperous future.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sio wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tukapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
A very good morning to you. My name is Wahome, and welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 24th day of November. 24th day of June 2024. Well, we've got a lot of events going on, and one of those is that we've got the East African Sub-Regional Forum on Artificial Intelligence. It's happening at the Edge Convention Center, and so that's one of the events we're keeping tabs on. And also remember, out at the court, we've got a parliamentary, we've got Salim Swaleh, who's being arraigned at the Milimani Law Court, and what the arresting officers and the investigating officers want to do is that they want him detained so that investigations can conclude following his arrest, after he is facing charges of making wrong use of government premises by having people who are involved in fraud and other things. Those are the allegations against him. And also parliamentary committee meetings are happening today. So all that, keep tabs on that. And we get back to a conversation about the Africa Chukball Championships. Kenya is going to be hosting the continent from the 8th to the 12th of this month at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. So that is, to put it in simple terms, the final weekend of the Olympics, of the Olympic Games. So Africa will be hosting the African Championships and that. And so in studio with me, I've got Kennedy Miruka on my right, who's the president of Chukball Kenya. We've got Caroline Nange, who's a player for the national team. She's also a coach. And we've got Brian Muchanga, who's a Chukball referee. And Brian, let me come to you now. When it comes to the officiating of this sport, because it's an offshoot of handball, but zero contact. And what you use is something that's almost designed like this tablet. So that's where you throw the ball for you to get a score, and it's got no sign. Just take us through the rules of the sport.
Okay, so for the rules, we normally say Chukball is a game of threes. So 3 passes, 3 seconds with the ball, and then also 3 steps. And then also on the frame, you're supposed to only shoot 3 times consecutively on the same frame. So if there are more than 3 shots, the ball is supposed to change to the other frame. If they don't change, it's one of the fouls.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Brian, we'll be coming back to you. So it's a game of threes. So we're going to be talking about that. But right now, let's move to the Edge Convention Center, where we've got keynote speaker Philip Thigo, who's speaking, and this is at the opening session of the 3-day East African Sub-Regional Forum on Artificial Intelligence.
Problem to have. Quickly, of course, ethically, we are seeing a lot of acceleration and prosperity amidst a big inequality. And this is so true to our region, where a majority, as you've seen, are excluded from opportunity because technology is just not about digital, it's actually about society. And of course, because of adoption, benefits will always flow to early adopters. This is why you always hear the usual suspects. So it's Kenya, it's Rwanda, it's Ghana, it's Nigeria, it's Senegal. How do you ensure that the benefits are equalizing? And so this is what we are finding. And to Gabriella's point, if we don't do something, and for me it's the cost of inaction, is this, that the world is increasingly becoming trust deficit. And for governments, we're the least trusted, simply because we are leaving people behind. So the context of artificial intelligence must also be spoken within the context of trust. Because we talk about data, we talk about governance. Governance and data is a context of trust. Because people have real fears, and we know AI is one of the causes of fears. If you look at number 4 in terms of the cost of living, That's what we're experiencing. People have genuine fears. And out of the 5 greatest risks, AI is in 4 of them. From misinformation, disinformation, to polarization of society, to the cost of living, to cyber attacks. So it is something we cannot ignore potentially. And so the challenges of this, I think, of course, policymakers, we can catch up. We are seeing new risks that we are trying to understand. We are seeing issues around workers' rights. That's important, because if you think about the cost of living and jobs and people being afraid of losing jobs, with exponential companies means less workers' rights. People are losing jobs because of automation. And then we are seeing down here human agency, because we are delegating lots of our decision-making to machines. There are ethical issues there. The point is that machines should never be left to make life and death decisions. It's unethical. And so as we think about this conference, let's really ponder on that. And we saw that during the stimulus period where people are doing that. Quickly, and because of talking about ethics, is why are we still building that and not building this? How are we getting our people future ready when our systems are not building the jobs or the talent for the future, especially in this region? And I'm glad somebody from the Ministry of Education is here. This is something we need to think about, especially public sector. I'll leave the slides, don't worry. Things to think about. So, the elephant in the room, AI. I don't know how to call it an elephant, but it seems to be many elephants. This is what we understand and what we knew before. Narrow AI, self-driving cars, auto-completion emails. I hope you know that email. I hope this finds you well. It auto-completes for you. So this was easy. But I think this is, and we can see the evolution. So it's not new. I always tell people AI is not new. From the 1950s, there was some artificial intelligence thing being spoken to. Slides will be shared. Don't kill yourself taking photos. And so we know this, right? From Siri to Watson to Eugene. So it's been there. But I think the difference with AI right now is this other guy now, generative artificial intelligence, which means AI is everywhere, right? Artificial intelligence, generating new outputs. So you've used ChatGPT, you've used Gemini, and you've used a lot of things. So, but we're seeing now AI being able to recognize patterns, create new content from image, text, videos, and even more. Mentioned. Let me use this one a bit. When you look at our region.
And that is Ambassador Philip Thigo speaking. He's a special envoy on technology for the Republic of Kenya. And he is speaking at this event where we have got the opening session of a 3-day East African Sub-Regional Forum on Artificial Intelligence, and it's happening at the Edge Convention Center in South Sea. Our reporter is Sarafina Robi. She's going to be giving us the report of the opening day. So we'll get back to a conversation, and this is all around Chukball. The Africa Chukball Championships will be hosted in Kenya from the 8th to the 12th of August. And in studio with me on my left, I've got, Ken Miruka, who's President, Chukball Kenya. We've got Caroline Nange, who's a coach, and Brian Michanga, who is a match official, and also he is a coach. And preparations for Team Kenya. Let me start with you, Brian, because one of the things you've got to do, you've got 2 hats. So if there is one you use as a match official, and then as a referee, then this of coach. Just give us a background that the build-up towards selecting the Kenyan team, which is going to be happening in this coming weekend. Okay, so what we look at is first of all skill. You have to have the skill, because when you come to the national team, it's we're now dealing with the advanced part of the game, and now changing the formations. Teaching you how to, maybe based on what we've seen with the other teams, we now get to teach you how to maybe defend better, score better, use the angles better. The other thing is about communication also. Are you able to communicate? Because Chukball is a game that really works on communication. It is very big on communication, because I have to understand, how does Ken play? How do I pass the ball to him?
how do we communicate so that the opponent does not also understand our tactics. And then the next thing, the
but
other
Kenyans,
thing,
you speak Swahili, no one knows what you're saying. Nobody has a clue.
But kuna mtu anaweza soma, anaweza ona.
No, I mean, as I look at Kenya 775 to digress and you hear them in the huddle. Hapa tafadhali msiachane. Mtu akipata bola kisha unaenda na yeye.
But the Tanzanians and Ugandans, they can understand Kiswahili. Yes.
So you flip to Sheng.
There's Sheng. You have to use Sheng. Ama lugha utatumia bora ingiane.
Okay.
Yes.
So the whole communication, and this is where now it comes in because it's 3 passes, 3 seconds,
yes,
3 steps. So how do you help? I mean, how do you get your players to understand this and keep them in mind before they go for, go for the score?
Okay, personally, like as a coach, I insist on utilizing the 3 passes. But if you're able to score, you can score. The other thing is on 3 passes, there's one thing I think we didn't mention. When the ball starts from outside, there's a 0 pass. So there's a 0, and then from there you get 3. So you can either turn the ball to the other side or this other side. And then if you can also change the ball, we call it that there's a 3-way pass and a 4-way pass. So it depends with how you alternate. Yes.
And here's the beauty of it. Each of the frames, you can score there, but 3 in a row, you've got to switch now.
You've got to switch.
So for you, for the women's side, having played for the women's team and played at the world level, what are the things that you've picked up? And because you're also a coach, you want to bring back to the country such that the game grows and rises to the level that everyone wants it to be.
Yeah, when we went to Uganda in 2022, actually we were the youngest team because we had only been trained for 4 Saturdays and we went to the championship. And we met countries like Cameroon. They had...
Never new teams have ages based on that. When you said the youngest, I thought average age 22.
Not age-wise.
It's only that you're trained for very
we had only trained for 4 weekends.
Basically 4 days.
Yeah, 4 Saturdays, actually 4 days, yeah. And we went and we met with teams like Cameroon. They had been together for 13 years. And we learned a lot. And actually we challenged them because I was only training for 4 weekends and winning the silver, it was not a joke. That shows Kenyans, we are always, to the goal. And whatever we touch with our hands, we run with it. So we learned a lot from the likes of Cameroon, the likes of Benin and Tanzanians. And we acquired a lot of skills from them because it's like we were also in the process of learning the game and going to the championship. So it was not an easy task for us, but we learned a lot from the other countries when we were playing in Uganda.
Now coming to this, Ken, look at this. So let's now talk about the process of selecting the Kenyan team for the African Championships. It's happening this weekend. What's the criteria that's going to be used? Because these two are the ones who are going to be observing everyone in the team.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And maybe to add to what Carol was saying, learning chukball is very easy. You can learn in 5 minutes and you're already playing chukball. So that's why it was easy for them to, do 4 trainings and then go for the championship. But we are really going to face serious teams in this African Championship, and they have been training very hard. The defending champions, Benin, we would wish to make sure that the trophy remains here, being the host. And for that reason, we are very deliberate in terms of the quality of athletes we want to put to represent the nation in this championship. As the host, we'll be having 2 team for the men and 2 team for the women. And as a federation, we have...
So that is 48 players in total.
48 players in total, yes. And that gives us an advantage because when we get, 48 of the best, there's no way we are going to miss, retaining the shield or the cup here in Kenya. And for that reason, because there are so many people that now know chukball and now play chukball, mashinani and even in Nairobi, we, unlike last championship where we picked the best team to represent the country, we want to make sure that we have given fair opportunity to every person to be able to represent the country. So we are doing our selection in 2 steps. The first step is happening at the county level, where the county associations are actually having their own tournaments and selecting the best amongst them to be part of the team. Now these people will come to Nairobi and we'll do the second stage selection, where we have the best from each county in Nairobi.
How many counties are we talking about?
So we are having around, the ones that will field. I'm yet to be advised on how many already done their selections. Yeah, but I am expecting at least 12 to 18 counties to actually bring people, because they are very active at the moment. The second stage will be to now select the people that have already been selected at the county level to now make the cut, and that's the criteria that Brian was talking about. We have set up a selection technical committee that is very capable and has representation from each of these counties. And once that's done, then we will get them into a training regimen for at least 1 month, a very serious, consistent training, so that we have a good chances of winning the championship.
Okay. Let me come to Carol. 7 asides, how do you pick out, the 7 players and the roles that you want each one of them to play?
Okay, with Chuk ball, there's no positioning. Everyone can play in any position. The only thing is there are 7 players, so we have the center line player, then the 3 players on one side, the other 3 on the other side. So how we select them is, as Brian was saying, we have to look at how good are they in passing the ball, because you need to pass the ball and that ball should not touch the floor. Yeah. So we need people who are good in throwing and catching skills. We need people who are very fast and they are quick to think. And as Brian was saying, communication. They are able to check which side is our opponent not very attentive, and then we need to score on that side. So as the president is saying, from the regional levels, then when we get the team, that's when now we'll be able to choose the best of the best from those selected from the county levels.
Brian, and I want to talk about something that, from the video that we have seen, the footage, stock footage that we've seen of, people playing chuk ball, it's going to be a very big shift from where we play on grass, on dust, maybe on dusty surfaces and that, and now moving to a wooden floor.
Yes.
How do you prepare a player for that transition? Because it changes everything.
Okay, so we are looking at, when we go to the camp now, we'll be able not to deal with the selected teams. And then from there, at least things like defending become easy, because defending while you're on the sand, it becomes hard, but on the wood now, the dynamics change. What she has said, also in Uganda, I remember we used an artificial turf. And I would tell you, players that were never defending back at home, they defended up to a point I was not imagining, like, is this the person I was training? Because walijituma, if I would say in Kiswahili. Yes.
And what is it that this edge, the edge that you saw them get, the moment they moved on to the artificial surface, what's the advantage that it has over grass or, dust pitches?
Okay, so what I would say is the edge is the area you're in also determines how you will play. When you see you're playing in a very good pitch, you're very much motivated, psychologically even. Yes.
Well, very interesting. Well, when some others see in some other sports, when they see a surface, first of all, they are in awe of the surface before they even play. Now, the other thing is, President, this is where the numbers and the logistics behind these African championships. What's the planning? How many nations are we looking at? Because you've mentioned that Kenya has got 2 teams, Kenya A, Kenya B, if you were to call them that. And now also in the way that you would like the sport to reach out to people.
Right. So we are anticipating, we sent invitations to 24 African countries Out of that, 12 have already confirmed. So we are anticipating at least 12 countries, but some may confirm in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We also are anticipating to host this in one place at Kasarani Indoors to make logistics easier because they have accommodation at the Stadium Hotel there. And we are going to use the indoor arena. There are going to be 2 pitches and people will do matches there. In terms of logistics, we of course are really constrained at the moment financially. So we are reaching out to partners and sponsors who can support us in this process, and we will have a lot of advertising opportunities for them. We are reaching out to media partners as well, corporate partners, and the government has been very supportive. We hope that they will continue supporting us for that. The dates, we'll be having a number of things happening.
You could take us through that.
Yes, so one of the things that we will be doing is a coach and referee seminar. We really want to build capacity not just for Kenyans but in Africa, because as Kenya we are positioning ourselves as the leaders in Africa for chukball. So we want to have as many people as possible to get the international coach training and the international referee training. So these will happen starting on the 8th and on the 9th. And so if there's somebody out there who would like to be a coach for chukball, you are invited to check in our website.
So that will also be happening at Kasarani?
That will also
alongside
be happening there.
Parallel to the tournament?
Yeah, so it's actually the first 2 days will be these trainings. There's also going to be a safeguarding training for sports. And this involves, because most of the people will be dealing with children, and at the grassroots level, it's important for us to have safeguarding as well in sports, and make people aware of the different issues like doping and the rest in sport. And then the last 2 days will be the tournament proper, which will be happening after an opening ceremony. And then at the end of the tournament, we'll have a closing ceremony and a gala dinner. That's how it will look like. But we'll really want to see that indoor arena filled up. So what we'd like to see, what I'd personally like to see, is that Kasarani Indoor Arena is full of Kenyans. So I'd want to encourage as many people as possible to show up, be they in schools, be they from mtaani, waje waone chukball at a highly professional level.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this because he's mentioned having 2 courts on within the indoor arena.
Yes.
Just take us through, the size or the dimensions and how you ensure that the space is optimally utilized at the Kasarani Indoor Arena.
So basically, I'll start by the frame. The frame is 1 meter by 1 meter. And then there is a D. The D is normally 3 meters. But now the outside field goes to, it depends with the number you're playing. But if you're playing 7 aside, it's around 26 by 22. So 26 meters length and then 22 width. Yes, so you can be able, in a basketball court, you can be able to come up with around 2. Yeah.
And so that is where Kasarani now comes in?
Yes.
All right. Duration and how you want these matches to transition quick?
Okay, so normally this game is 3 periods. So 3 periods means 15 minutes each. So basically for 45 minutes, every game will be played. Yeah.
Which is basically 1 hour.
So it will work for the 2 days. Yes.
Now let me come to you, Carol, and let's see the lessons that you've learned and that you would want to see the national team that is going to be playing at the African Championships execute on the court.
The lessons that I've learned is that 1, you have to love the game. 2, you have to be very focused. Then 3, you have to be very dedicated for us to actually win that cup. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Right. President, this is now for you, making sure that this, you mentioned about the counties that are out there, taking it mashinani. I can see that there are 2 things that you basically, 1, 2, 3 things that you'd need for you to start playing the game. You need the frames, you need the ball, and you need whitewash.
And the nets.
Yes, and the nets. So the frame, I consider it as the nets as the whole. So what's being done to make sure that these things are affordable, accessible to everyone? Because it looks like it's something anyone can do, anywhere.
Yeah, so the beauty of Chuk ball is that you can play it in many fields. I think you mentioned the indoor wooden surface. You can play it on the beach, you can play it on grass, or even on the dusty ground. All you need is just the 2 pairs of frames and the ball to start with. And it caters for different fitness levels. So one of the constants why Chuk ball hasn't grown very rapidly as we would have wished is the availability and accessibility of these frames. They are very easy to make. Fundi wa mtaa anaweza kutengeneza the frame, and so we are trying to encourage more fundis to do that. It's made of metal, 1 meter squared. Then there's the net that is really tight, yeah? Kama zile trampoline watu wakiruka wana bounce. So that net is almost 1 meter squared. At the moment we have to import that because we do not have people who make them really well. But we have been engaging net makers, fishermen, to see if we can encourage, especially women groups, to make this. Becomes a source of income to them, but also makes it available for us. Now, the cost of importing these, or 1 full frame set, is around 20,000 Kenya shillings. If you need 2, that's around 40,000 Kenya shillings. So the strategy we are using right now is to encourage people in the mashinani to fundraise. So if a team can, have 40 people each contributing 1,000, they'll be able to actually have the equipment. The equipment is very durable. Once you make that investment, you can play with it for several years, 20, 15, so many years, yeah? We are also talking with TVETs to see if they can produce most of these. Now, in all these, our main challenge, of course, is being able to purchase many of these. So one of the plans that the Federation has put in place is to try and purchase at least 2 pairs per county, which will be floating. And then if a team or a school or a club wants, they can buy from the Federation. And then the Federation will keep 47 pairs of floating equipment to make it really accessible for those people who don't have. And part of this process is to look for partners that can work with us in this journey to make this initial purchase of equipment.
All right. Thank you very much. He's Ken Miruka. He's the president of Chuk Ball Kenya. And Kenya is hosting the Africa Chuk Ball Championships, Kasarani, 8th to the 12th. So Team Kenya selection, the venue, so that people can watch this, Carol?
Yeah, team selection, we'll be doing it in Embakasi, the administration police, that is in Embakasi, APTC, yeah. That's where we'll be doing it. On Saturday, we are having several teams coming there, so people can join us.
The 29th.
Yes.
So all of them will be there, and so I'm sure you're going to be observing a lot. Give us a good team, and that mid-weekend of August, we shall be doing that. Santeni sana Karo Nange, Brian Muchanga, and also Ken Miruka. Now we take a break as we give you the highlights of the crowning of Gor Mahia FC. They played against Bidco United. A 7-goal thriller, 4-3, it ended in favor of Gor. And then after that, let's talk about Scrabble. Kenya is headed to the World Youth Championships and also the World Championships later this year.
Hizi mbili zilikuwa zinapania angalau kuja na kufunga mabao mengi, maanake mechi hizi kati ya Ulinzi Stars na FC Leopards hazijatoa magoli mengi.
Bila shaka ni mchezo ambao bila shaka Anthony Modo Kimani alikuwa anajua kwamba baada ya kupigwa kwenye duru ya kwanza ya ligi kuu taifa Kenya na timu hii ya AFC Leopards angalau angepata alama 3 kwenye mchezo huu, lakini shughuli ilivyoanza ilikuwa ni mapema kabisa kwa AFC Leopards. Ukitazama pembezoni kushoto, mchezaji Hassan Bija akaleza kumtafuta Victor Omune akamtafuta Musa Aondo Pele, shuti lake likatoka kwenye makwapa ya mlinda mlango Isa Emuria.
Kijana mdogo ambaye alikuwa ameanza kwa nafasi yake James Saruni, na tukaona kwamba alikuwa na mchecheto kidogo, manake aliruka baada ule mpira kupita na ikaanza kuonesha zile ishara zake kutokuwa na umakinifu, lakini Ulinzi Stars kajibu vizuri sana pale. Levis Opio katoa ule mpira ambao kidogo uingie pale, kijana Bikokwa pata nafasi nzuri sana pale kwa kichwa, jaribu kufunga na ukagonga mwamba.
Na ilikuwa nafasi ambayo ilikuwa tayari ashapatikana mlinda mlango Levis Opio, maana kugonga chuma kile kurejea uwanjani. Hii hapa ilikuwa nafasi nyingine, Victor Omune akajaribu kuipenyeza, lakini tazama alivyopiga ovyo kabisa hapa mchezaji Hassan Beja. Hii ilikuwa nafasi ya Beja kuweza kujiandikisha goli jingine na goli la kuongoza kwa FC Leopards. Nafasi ya yeye dhidi ya Isa Emuria.
Bila shaka na alikuwa makosa yake Samuel Makwata, lakini goalkeeper Emuria alitoka vizuri na kufanya mwili wake ukawa mkubwa, lakini hili ni lile tukio ambalo lilikuja baadaye kipindi cha pili, penalty yake Bikoko ambaye alianza kusherekea kabla mapema sana.
Lakini utajiuliza pia Kennedy Owino alikuwa anapiga nini? Alikuwa anapiga mpira ama alikuwa anapiga vita? Lakini hapo kiangalia penalty ambayo anaikosa hapa inachezwa na mlinda mlango Levis Opio. Ni kama Levis Opio angalau anarudisha ile imani kwa mashabiki wa FC Leopards. Lakini hapa ilikuwa nafasi nyingine kipindi cha pili, Ronald Sichendia pembezoni kushoto, Victor Omune akamwanzia Sichendia tena akaingia yeye kwenye kijisanduku, lakini shuti lake moja kwa moja likawa hafifu kwa Isa Emuria.
Na ni nafasi ambazo zilianza kuonekana haswa huu upande wa kushoto wa timu ya FC Leopards. Walijenga nafasi nyingi sana kutoka upande huu. Sichendia ambaye tunajua kwamba huwa anamakinika aliweza kujaribu kushuti pale, na pia kwa mara ya pili upande ule wa kushoto kijana Maxwell Otieno kapata nafasi nzuri sana kamtoka,
na hili ndilo goli ambalo aliweza kuunganisha mchezaji mwite Victor Omune Ochami, goli lake la 8 la msimu, lakini dhambi ambalo lilifanyika kwa mchezaji nguvu mpa mwite Maxwell Otieno.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. And it's a day when we're having conversations about different sports. Scrabble and is what's coming up next. And in studio with me, I've got the technical director for us, Crispin Okeo. And also we've got the Secretary General of Scrabble Kenya, Beryl Okada. But before we come to you, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a Kenyan Olympian. He was at the 1996 Atlanta Games, now lives in Denmark, and he is a boxing coach. And a quick conversation around boxing as it is today. And a very good morning to you, legend of Kenyan boxing, Evans Ashira Oure. So, as that is Evans Ashira Oure, and he was at the 1996 Olympic Games. He also has been a professional boxer, 32 fights, 29 wins, 3 losses. So that has been it. A very good morning to you, Evans.
Hello, how are you doing out there?
It's been, we are doing very well. Thank you for giving us your time. We can see in the background that you're getting ready to get down to business, because that's what you do all around this. So first, let's, from your career as an amateur boxer, breaking through to the Kenyan team around 92 and representing the country at the 96 Olympics, just take us through that part of your sporting journey.
Yes, take us. Amateur boxer, I used to box for Kenya Post Authority, Mombasa, and then we went to these trials, national trials and stuff. Then I managed to get into the national team. But my family, as you know, is a boxing family, so it was not like a surprise. I knew it just was a matter of time. I need to get into the national team and do my thing. So I was in the national team. We did a lot of international competition. When if I just get straight to like the Olympic Games, it's like we went and qualified in Harare, Zimbabwe for All Africa Games, where I won a silver medal and qualified for Olympic Games Atlanta 1996. And it was interesting because in Atlanta 96, I think we produced more boxing champions than any other Olympics ever done. So people like Floyd Mayweather, the Klitschko brothers, Antonio Trava, just a lot. I can name all day. So there was a lot of fighters who went through the Olympic 96. They became champion. And one amazing thing, like in Kenya, right now. I don't know how boxing's going, but I've been watching it closely and joining the WhatsApp group where the boxing fighters are talking about boxing and contribute and talk about boxing. But I think having no East African fighter not going to Olympic is a big letdown as a world general.
So let's talk about this. The current qualification process for the Olympics. This year it has been very brutal, especially for African boxers. Just about 18 in total, and including no East Africans. And how amateur boxing has evolved? Because you're now based in Europe, you're seeing it from a different angle.
Hello?
Oh, hello, Evans. So it's just a question. Let me just repeat that question. How you've seen amateur boxing evolve from your years as an amateur to now that, I mean, going through professional boxing now as a coach. How do you see that evolution and the qualification process for the Olympics?
It's going to disappear.
Okay,
hello?
Looks like we have a technical hitch with the sound. Evans, I hope you can just take us through the evolution of amateur boxing over the past 30 years or so, and what needs to be done to ensure that you have a good amateur boxer. Okay, looks like we've lost Evans Ashira Ore, so maybe when we do get that fixed, we'll be speaking to him. And it's all about boxing at the Olympics, because no East African boxer, no Kenyan boxer, and since Kenya sent their boxers way back 60 years ago, at no Olympic Games has Kenya failed to have a boxer. It's going to be the first. So it's going to be a tough one, but let's talk about the evolution of amateur boxing, Evans, over the last 30 years. And what's required to make sure that someone can qualify for an Olympics?
I mean, is this one? I can hear my echo, guys. It's just like everything else in life. You got to work hard, you got to dedicate, you're going to commit, you're going to be obsessed with things. Like you need to some kind of obsession to make the things work. And if you're not obsessed with this kind of things, like training, boxing, and getting better every day, I don't think it will work. So I think they're lacking in the Kenyan team or Kenyan fighters right now. It's like most of them like to complain. They don't get what they have, because the gyms nowadays are so improved. We box on the punching bag. We had a few pad work, and that ball ring and those kind of stuff. But they still complain about things that not being there. But they need to get the mindset work out, where the mindset is trained to understand what they need is to win. They don't need anything else. They just need to win and to shoot. If you don't see what you have, you don't get what you want. So they need to see what they have first, and then all of them will get what they want. That's for sure.
One last question here, and your son, Frederick, is now getting into boxing. I know you've got your sights on the 2028 games. Why not 2024? And why the 4-year process such that he can get sharp?
Yeah, but actually we could have done 2024, but the qualification team, the system they use, it was a little bit difficult for everybody, because they picked a few fighters who went for European qualifying matches, and then, of course, when they lost, they can't pick new ones. When they lost, that was it. And actually, Denmark don't have a fight in the Olympic as well. But as I say, we try to make him focus on getting 2028 into 2028 by Olympic. But if you don't get, we also have other fallback plan we have, because we have it getting ready now. ICE is an Olympic, but we're going to do Golden Gloves. And we're going to go to New York and do New York boxing tournament. And we're going to go to Chicago and do Chicago Golden Gloves. So we're staying busy. And meanwhile, if the pro doesn't, the Olympic doesn't come through, we have a lot of options to follow.
Thank you very much, Evans Shiraure, for your insights on that. I'm sure we'll be having more conversations as this comes in. And I can see in the background, it's everyone get ready for the Evans Shiraure Boxing Club as you train those young boxers. And thank you for putting it this way. No complaining and have the passion. Kenyan Olympian from 1996.
They should have a passion and get obsessed to be the champions.
Okay.
If they complain all the time, they're going nowhere. They need to see what they have before they get what they want. And they need to commit themselves and be obsessed by the training. That's the only thing going to change everything.
Okay. Thank you very much, Evans Shiraure. Have a good day as you take them through the paces out in Denmark. I'm sure there's going to be more conversations around this, even as we head towards the Olympic Games. Well,
thanks. I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you and welcome, Bingwa Wetu. Right, so Evans Shiraure, an Olympian, and I'm sure his words are going to be reverberating here about having an obsession and a passion. As we move on to the next, conversation, it's about Scrabble, and Crispin Okeo, far left. He's a technical director, Panasa, and we've got the Secretary General Scrabble Kenya, Beryl Okada. First, use the words of the Olympian as to how you've seen Scrabble as a sport grow in Kenya, such that I think, when was it? Was it 2016 or 2018?
2017.
2017, we hosted.
Yes, we hosted the World.
You hosted the World here.
Yeah.
Yes, in Scrabble. Scrabble has been around for quite a bit. We started officially around 1993. We sent a team to the World event, Westpac, in the US. And it has grown, I think, mostly driven by passion. Like the Olympian says, we have tried very hard not to complain. We have driven ourselves and pulled our weight on passion and teamwork. It doesn't go, or it doesn't dilute the need for support, however. We have been struggling with the process of registration. Year in, year out, we have submitted our documents and refreshed our applications for formal registration at the Registrar of Sports. That is still ongoing. Every year we do a budget and submit on time, but you're not able to benefit from this budget because the registration is stalling. We're counting on anyone else out there who's able to help. We're in talks with the registrar, but I know concerted effort would probably make it faster. We're also counting, we have events every year. Locally, we do a circuit of 12 events, spreading the game throughout the country. We do county circuit, national events, but throughout the counties. In January, we were in Nairobi. In February, we were in Homa Bay.
Bungoma.
In Bungoma, we have been in Homa Bay. We have been in Muranga. We've been in Eldoret lately. And we had the Masters last weekend at Sagana, which was attended by both locals and people from the continent. We also look at the youth. We don't just hold the game within the adult population. We start from as young as primary school. Notably, this time we are hosting youth events down at the coast. We have done regional qualifiers because we are trying to consolidate a team to send to Sri Lanka later in the year, sometimes in October. And it's worth to mention that last year we sent a team of youth to the World Scrabble Championships that were held in Malaysia, in Thailand. In Thailand, yes. And we did very well. We floored champions like US, notably, and we're very proud of this. We want to keep up the momentum amongst the youth because if we do not inculcate this in the youth, then the Scrabble would be phased out eventually. A beautiful thing about this game is that it really doesn't discriminate on the age. As long as you have proficiency in the game, you can find a 6-year-old playing a 70-year-old. We have people in their 80s who are retired and they still enjoy the game, and they're quite a bit, they're very difficult to beat at the game, but also have very little ones who are actually posing a challenge to the current champion. So it is a game that can be nurtured both at school, in the family, and out there. Sorry.
All right, yeah, okay, you can finish.
Yeah, the bigger picture is that we are struggling currently to put this team together because we need the support of the PS to have to authorize us to engage students down at the coast. Every region is sending a team to the coast.
PS education.
Yes, PS education. Every region has done their qualifiers. They have sent a team down to the coast, but we're having hitches engaging students at the coast because I think for a long time we have relied and rode on the goodwill of the teachers and the support of the students. We might have, not in a bad way, overlooked the protocol we should, and now we're in the process of trying to engage the PS and the office at Jogo House to allow us to engage students in this national qualifier so that come later in the year, in September, October, we're able to send a team to Sri Lanka.
That is representative,
Yes.
not Nairobi combined.
No, that is a national youth event, and we are sending them to a world youth event.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's talk about these two events that she's mentioned. One, the Sagana, that was the Masters event. That was the elite level because we know Team Kenya is going for the African Championships,
Yes.
Sierra Leone. And also, there was also Bondo and Eldoret. I think all the
Yes,
events you've
national
had,
circuit, yes.
the national circuit, all of them were African Scrabble Championships qualifiers. Just give us a whole feel of how the team that's there so far is.
Okay, thank you very much. The team that we are sending as Kenya for the African Scrabble Championship, the qualifiers started earlier last year in August, and we play a minimum of 6 games, and out of the 6 games, your best 4 are used to weighted merit, and from that, we choose the best 15 out of that. So the team is a team of 15 players and 5 reserves. They'll be making their way to Sierra Leone, Freetown, later on in October. The event is from 23rd to the 27th. So the team basically comprises of players across the country. We have players from Nairobi, though it is majorly Nairobi-based players, but we have players from Homa Bay in the team, players from the coast in the team, players from Muranga in the team. So it has that national outlook that we really want to encourage the game out.
Okay, so now let's talk about the current state, because the first tournament that you're going, the next tournament you're going for is the World Youth Scrabble Championships in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
What have you seen with the growth of these youngsters in this sport?
Kenya, I think it is innate in us to be very competitive. They have given a very good show, a very promising show at these events. Last year, we sent a team to Lagos, and they did exceptionally well. Nigeria is a powerhouse of Scrabble, and fielding a team there for the first time to do a continental youth event, which was a first one. Kenya gave it a good run. We went again to Thailand. We gave it a good run. And Sri Lanka, I think Kenya is a team to watch. We're very confident that our team is going to bring back a podium finish like they have done in the last 2 events. So it is a section of the game that we are very keen and passionate about. We want to make sure that we spread it, and even with the support of the government, include it in the curriculum. Because Scrabble not only give you mental stimulation, but it teaches you decision making, time management, quick math, risk taking, calculated risk, and many other everyday skills that you can use even outside the game.
And it's the second time I'm hearing calculated risk
Yes,
today.
yes,
Because
yes.
earlier it was chess.
Okay.
Now Scrabble.
Yes, you don't just place your tiles on the board without thinking of the impact or the potential risk that move would give you. Something else we also want to mention on this platform is we're very passionate about Scrabble amongst the youth, that because we have cases, it is, I think, almost cliche to mention that down at the coast, the youth are at risk of engaging in activities that might not necessarily support their education or even lead them a good life. So Scrabble gives an alternative way of pleasure that would engage the youth constructively and also keep them away from substances.
Now, Crispin, let me come to you. Imparting the knowledge so that, because Scrabble, and Beryl, as he speaks, I want you to pick a few tiles and put out a crazy word. So I want to let you follow the proper one.
Okay.
I'll let you drop a crazy word and the scoring, because some of the words people use on Scrabble don't exist in real life, but they only exist in Scrabble. But Crispin, what's this knowledge transfer process that you really would want to see going through, especially as we build up to the youth championships, and so that it's continuous, it goes downstream?
So you said the knowledge that
about transfer, the knowledge transfer downstream, such that you have a consistent, production of players.
Okay, so already within the Scrabble Kenya executive team, they have coaching and mentorship programs in place, and their coaches spread across the country that occasionally visit schools. Our target is schools mostly because we know that is where we'll find a majority of the young players. So we have clinics in schools occasionally, and these are senior players, Kenya 1, Kenya 2, going to schools, trying to teach the knowledge of Scrabble to these young boys and girls. And through that, we are trying to make sure that the game does not die a natural death once these older folks leave the game. So there's already a plan in place, and which is actually being actualized, that the older players are taking up their resources, their time, to move to schools, to move to places that we never seen Scrabble before, and now Scrabble can be a conversation that is there.
And yeah, so we're seeing a word being set up here, because this is how you would make something ready. So
looking for the J.
The word that you want to?
The word is sukuruju. I'm looking for the J tile.
Sukuruju?
Yes, sukuruju. There's a J and then there's another U.
Sukuruju.
It's a 4U, yes. It's a 4U word. So
Okay.
one more U, and then we have sukuruju.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have the U. So what is a sukuruju?
Now, sukuruju. Now, the highest score would actually come if we played it on the triple.
On the triple.
Yes.
So you can see, these are the words that now, as a technical director, how do you then let people know all about these words and where to place them? Because this sukuruju sounds like Scrooge pronounced badly.
So in Scrabble, you study the words. There's a Scrabble sanctioned dictionary that where players will use their free time to go through the words. So a player will come armed. It's like a training session for you to study the Scrabble dictionary throughout, so that when you go to a tournament and you have this rack of sukuruju, you notice it almost immediately. For me as a technical director, my work is just to supervise and see that players are playing to the ethics of the game. They are following the rules. They are counting okay. They're not maybe engaging in any malpractice during the game.
3 rules of Scrabble that someone must know, basic ones.
3 rules of the Scrabble that you need to know. First, you need to always play with 7 tiles in your rack. If there are tiles in the bag, we need to start with at least 1 tile at the center square, which is the star. And you need to know how to count and try to score with the places that are the premium tiles that are labeled on the tile. Yeah.
But something someone would find very interesting is that when you're drawing your tiles from the bag should be above your eye level.
Yeah.
If you can look away and then show your opponent your palm, just to eliminate possibility of you returning tiles or drawing extra. Yeah. Draw enough and then put back the bag and put them in your rack.
How many Kenyans would have been thrown out of a competition because of that? Because let me show you how we do it. Because I've played, so this is what I do.
Sorry.
This is what we do. I mean, at this level.
Yeah.
We pick, I'm supposed to have 4.
Yes.
So there we go.
Yes.
If I have 3 on the on the rack.
Yes.
So you top it up to have 7, eh?
Yes.
To have 7.
Yeah.
But you've seen how we do it.
Yes.
So at competition level, you've got to do it from here.
Yeah.
So that it's very possible that someone could be drawing, but they have a sneak peek of what's in the bag that would give them undue advantage over their opponent.
So now you've taken this, the national qualifiers for the youth, World Youth Championships. They're going to be in Mombasa.
Yes.
True, yeah.
Just give us a level of the state of the sport down there, because Beryl's mentioned already you are in some little bit of a fix because of the letter from the PS. You've got to get it soon.
Yes.
But how good are they there?
In Mombasa, there are very many schools playing Scrabble. And even they had their regional qualifiers earlier last term. And they play even internal tournaments amongst themselves. So there's the passion of the game, but the hurdle is that probably protocol within the coast schools is a bit tight, that they'll always want maybe a letter from the ministry to certify that this game needs to happen here, or they want maybe an official from the association to always be around to speak it to them. But the players, they are very passionate. Actually, in the last year when we were supposed to go to Nigeria, we had a contingency from the coast that was supposed to be with us in that trip, but they could not make it to Nigeria because of those hurdles that we are speaking about here.
Well, we hope to see them broken. Final word from you, Beryl, as we exit.
It's a passionate appeal to the Ministry of Education. We get very minimal support, and if we are actually sustaining this game by passion and self-sacrifice, the little support would require just authorize us or allow us to engage the students for the events that we have, because so far that is all we can ask. If there's anything else, it's welcome. Any well-wishers out there who are passionate about Scrabble, you're welcome to join us and to support us.
All right.
But Team Kenya is the team to watch in Africa currently, only second to Nigeria.
Okay.
We are very proud about it.
All right. Thank you very much. Beryl Okada, who is the Secretary General, Scrabble Kenya, as they prepare for the African Championships, which will be in Sierra Leone, and that is in the month of October, and the World Youth Championships, that will be in Sri Lanka, and that is in September. Team selection this weekend. And so it's time for me to engage Beryl, maybe throw in somebody from KSSA who can help them get to the PS.
Please.
So that hakuna mwalimu atakataa kwenda coast.
No, the teachers are willing, the students are on fire, so we only have to get the authorization to engage so that it is not out of protocol.
Good. Wacha tusaidiane hapa.
Asante
So that we
sana.
have a great championship.
We appreciate.
Thank you for being with us over the past 2 hours as we discussed boxing, Scrabble, chukball, and chess. My name is Daniel Wahome. On behalf of the team that put this together, Asante Sana. For you, the viewer, thank you for being with us. Coming up next is Kurunzi Mashinani with Nancy Okware, followed by Tamrini. Have a good day.